wasn't an accident. It was the first red flag. He's been walking away from other people's pain since day one. Others focused on Kirk Burroughs' jaw-dropping claim that Combs allegedly hit his own mother following the incident, an allegation that left audiences divided. Even though Janice Combs publicly denied it as inaccurate and false, the moment sparked furious debate about when and where Diddy's alleged violent behavior truly began. On TikTok, fans dissected every frame of the interview. Reaction videos show users pausing, rewinding, gasping. One creator said, "You can literally feel everyone in that room stop breathing when Burroughs says that line. It's not even what he says, it's the way he says it." Meanwhile, true crime podcasters and pop culture YouTubers jumped on the story within hours. Many noted how meticulously the documentary frames early signs of control, volatility, and unchecked ego that later dominate Diddy's career. YouTube breakdowns titled "The Origins of the Bad Boy Monster" and "How the City College Stampede Defined Diddy" racked up millions of views overnight. But the most polarizing reaction came from longtime fans. Some defended him, arguing that young Puff was ambitious, not malicious. Others weren't as forgiving, saying, "We've been ignoring the red flags for decades. Every rumor we brushed off in the 2000s, it all started here." The episode's most chilling moment, Joy Dickerson Neal's assault story, triggered emotional responses across survivor communities online. Threads filled with messages of support for Joy and outrage at the industry's silence. The letter from her mother, shown in the episode, became a heartbreaking symbol of how power can bury truth for decades. Industry insiders quietly began to weigh in too. Former Uptown Records staffers, anonymous but verified on X, hinted that the doc barely scratched the surface of what really went down behind closed doors. Music journalists pointed out that this episode reframed Diddy's origin story not as a rags-to-riches triumph, but as the blueprint of unchecked power and impunity. As the dust settled, Episode 1 left audiences shaken, not by the fame, but by the pattern. From the City College tragedy to early allegations of abuse, viewers began connecting dots that had been hiding in plain sight. One comment under Netflix's official trailer summed up the mood best: "This isn't a documentary. It's a confession from history we refuse to hear." And as Episode 1 fades to black with that final line, just when the world started celebrating his genius, tragedy struck again. Social media couldn't stop asking one thing: if this was only the beginning, what horrors were still to come? If Episode 1 laid the foundation for Diddy's rise, Episode 2 rips open the world he built, exposing how fame, paranoia, and ego collided to form one of the darkest chapters in hip-hop history.
Happy birthday to you.
He's saying to himself, how do I get out of this? Maybe I can convince some witnesses that I'm not the guy who I am. Eventually, he's going to get to the point where he's going to ask himself, how did I get myself into this situation?
The episode opens with a slow montage. Diddy on red carpets, champagne in hand, surrounded by flashing cameras, set against the somber narration. In the 1990s, Sean Puffy Combs was untouchable, but power always demands a price. From there, the reckoning plunges into the bad boy versus death row era. The cultural battlefield that shaped and nearly destroyed an entire generation of hip-hop. Through archival clips and first-hand testimonies, the episode reconstructs how the tension between Combs' Bad Boy Records in New York and Suge Knight's Death Row Records in Los Angeles spiraled into something far more dangerous than music rivalry. Industry insiders recount how Diddy's polished, suit-and-tie image contrasted sharply with Death Row's raw gangster energy. But behind the scenes, both labels were playing with fire, each trying to outshine the other through intimidation, money, and power moves. Suge Knight's infamous 1995 Source Awards moment, where he took shots at Diddy on live television, come to Death Row, reappears here, remastered and chillingly narrated. Viewers watch as the crowd erupts in chaos, not realizing they were witnessing the spark that would ignite years of bloodshed. One former Bad Boy executive describes the atmosphere bluntly. It wasn't about who had the better artists anymore. It was about who owned the streets, and Puff wanted that throne. Midway through the episode, the tone shifts. Former LAPD detective Greg Kading, who led the special task force investigating Tupac Shakur's 1996 murder, takes center stage. Sitting in a dimly lit room, Kading reveals a damning proffer testimony from Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a member of the Crips, who claimed the gang was offered $1 million to assassinate both Tupac and Suge Knight.
You said that Puffy called and said, "Was that us?" And you didn't say nothing.
I didn't say nothing. Yeah, you're right.
Apparently, there was supposed to be $1 million that Zip was supposed to bring back, but he ended up keeping the money and buying a nightclub with it.
That's what the FBI said.
FBI said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys never got any money
Never.
for anything.
Nothing.
Archival police documents flash on screen as Kading narrates. The name that came up repeatedly was Sean Combs. The episode freezes on Kading's face as he continues. We had testimony, money trails, and witness statements suggesting Combs put out the hit. But it never stuck. The question is, why? Combs, in previously unseen 2008 interview footage, denies every allegation, calling it garbage and a dangerous lie that could get people killed. But the show doesn't let the denial rest. Kirk Burrows, Diddy's former business partner, appears again, visibly shaken. The power games got too real, he says. There were moments when you could feel it. Something was about to break. It stopped being business. It became